It's been about a week since Bitcoin crashed all the way down to 59K. But since that week has happened, there have been several little anomalies that we can take a look at. In the week since Bitcoin has pulled back, Bitcoin is now down 3%, while we see other coins, other alt tokens start to run, like HBAR and Ondo both up 10%, XRP up 3%, Chainlink up 1.5%, and many others. I call out those four because there are four of our five pillars, but the fifth pillar is the one I want to talk about today, and that's Canton Network. Now, I know this week it's not looking too appealing as far as on the crypto bubbles chart, but if we look at overall the last month, you start to see a different story when it comes to the Canton Network. Now, again, nothing in my streams, excuse me, is ever financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You need to do your own research. Everything is for entertainment and educational purposes only, but I like to use facts, figures, numbers, logic. And when you look at a red screen like this and there's one big green circle, it starts to tell a pretty clear story. Now, when you look at the week, again, we see that it's pulled back just a little bit, but that's okay because we are here for the long view. We're here for what's going to happen a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's why we actually track on ledger activity, looking at the XRPL network right now, or the XRP ledger right now. I don't know why I called it network, like we're talking about internet right now. But when we look at the XRP ledger, we are starting to see a ramp up in activity. This is what we follow every single day. Another little bump here in accounts activity yesterday, going up to 43K. Now, why am I pulling this up in regards to ledger? We talk about it every single day. Well, we have some information about the XRP ledger as we cover information every day. You can follow me on X at Longview Crypto. But when you're taking a look at what's actually happening on the XRP ledger and the auto bridging and things like that, as well as the permission DEX coming online here in a little bit, but we also have to worry about the Clarity Act. The Clarity Act is going to be big for the entire crypto industry. And honestly, I think it's kind of what's got us in this holding pattern right now is people are waiting to see how this whole thing's going to shake out. But let's see what Brad has to say about it.
We were pretty darn close to the Clarity Act going into the banking committee markup process, which would have been a very big positive step. It got stalled. You know, the thing I would say about that is let's not let kind of public outrage around certain things that could maybe be better masquerade as representing the whole industry in a certain way. And you know what I mean by that is mostly like I think it's so clear that clarity is better than chaos. And the Clarity Act as written, it's not perfect. If anybody in here has ever seen a perfect piece of legislation, like, you know, there's things I don't love about it, but let's not let perfection get in the way of progress. Ripple has been a big advocate of kind of pushing that through because of our journey. We got sued by the SEC, had a very painful 4 years. And although we have that clarity, a federal judge ruled in our case that XRP is not a security. That's clarity. The industry does not have clarity. And like whether we like it or not, the fortunes of Ripple kind of rise and fall a little bit on the fortunes of the crypto industry. Right. We want the industry to do well, and so we have been big advocates of getting this passed. I'll give it at 80%. By the end of April, it's signed.
Brad says end of April, 80% chance. He's a lot more optimistic than I am, but it is a possibility it could get through at the end of April. Now, I am a constant advocate for XRP when I say that we need clarity and that XRP does not have clarity. I've said that 100 times. Well, you hear Brad say XRP does have clarity, not a security. That's the clarity they have, that they're not a security. They don't have a defined role in the system per the SEC, per the CFTC. It does not have a defined role yet. So even though it's classified as not
pretty darn
a security,
close to the clarity.
I don't know why it automatically did that. But even though it's classified as not a security, we still have to worry about that. I'm sorry. And I'm going to die on that hill. People can say I'm wrong all you like. Now, this is important because we're talking about the overall market, right? The crypto industry rises and falls with the overall market. Bitcoin follows tech stocks. It's just how it goes. So, big US housing affordability has reached its lowest level in history. So we have lots of talks about the recession warnings. We've talked about this stuff before. So we were talking yesterday about them talking about a pump, right? An alt cycle pump as far as the debt rotation and things like that. We need to talk about the other side of it. Okay. If anything else, I'm transparent. I'm going to show you all views. You need to be aware of what's happening in the world and in the overall market. I'm going to tell you the good and the bad so you can make your most informed decision. Not trying to be Chicken Little, sky is falling, or take a middle of the road element to it. I have to report everything because we need all of the information to make our decision. If I just give you one side of it, then I'm no different than all the other hype boys out there. So, potential housing affordability issue here. Not potential, there is a housing affordability issue. We're going to cover that more as I get further into the news, and it is important. So the biggest stock market crash in history is imminent, warns Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Poor Dad author and the man who has predicted 50 of the last two stock market collapses. So if he's constantly predicting a stock market collapse, so they're making a joke about it here, but he's predicted 50 of the last two stock market collapses. He has been talking about this for a long, long time, but take it with what you will. He is a notable figure in the economy, or in economic talking heads, for a lack of better terminology. All in Crypto says BitGo CEO Mike Bell says AI will use crypto in some way. AI can't touch cash, so I'm pretty sure that AI is going to use some form of digital asset cryptocurrency. BitGo on the Hedera Council is leveraging HBAR's network for secure digital asset services as Hedera becomes integrated into AI workflows. Let's see what they have to say on CNBC.
To code for better or worse, right or wrong right now seems to be swept up in the selling. That being said, when we talk about that intersection between cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies and AI, what does that look like and how does it evolve?
Well, look, AI can't touch cash. So I'm pretty sure that AI is going to be using some form of digital asset cryptocurrency. Stablecoins have emerged as a great way to do payments. They're one-to-one backed, they're easily understood, they run 365 days a year. So when you think about how AI is going to interface with us when it comes to money, of course it's going to be digital. At BitGo, we're building infrastructure to make it easier for robots to use wallets, have wallets, and have those, of course, controlled by the folks that are behind those AI bots as well. So this is just emerging now, and it's going to grow.
Yeah. I've heard a number of executives refer to this as the year of utility. Do you think that's how 2026 shapes up, especially when we start talking about all the applications associated with tokenization?
Well, it certainly could be. So we've been talking about use cases for years. Sometimes people say the use cases aren't here, but remember, when it comes to money, it always takes a really long time for things to evolve. So use cases that we do have, of course, we've got store of value, that's Bitcoin, we've got stable coins, and that's payments, just getting started really in the last year and a half. Now the tokenization of real world assets, this is growing like crazy. Just today, I think we have Binance and Franklin Templeton with an announcement. We got BlackRock announcing that they plan to tokenize their shares. These things are coming actually pretty quickly in 2026. Lastly, DeFi also saw some announcements today with Uniswap and DeFi being accessed directly from traditional financial players. So with the regulatory landscape having changed so much in just the last year, finally, everybody feels they can participate in a way that they know that their regulator is going to work with them instead of trying to fight them or tear it down. Innovation is good for the economy, it's good for consumers, it's good for money.
All right, so yeah, take that with what you will. So AI agents are going to have to transact with cryptocurrency, and it's just getting started. It looks like everyone's jumping on board, right? We covered BlackRock using Uniswap the other day, and we have more information on BlackRock and their crypto investments. I found one hidden behind the scenes, and it's on one of the cryptos that we have been talking about in our 5 pillars. It's coming up here in a second. So Ancillar makes sense architecturally, but the hard part is building infrastructure that lets AI agents interact with blockchain securely. Tokenization, wallet abstractions, transaction verification at scale. That's an engineering challenge that most teams are still solving. So they're still a little bit of ways away from here, but it is a scary concept, and you could see it in the interviewer's face when he answered the question, talking about AI bots having access to wallets and trading. This is our future, everybody. They said it's just getting started. We're going to be trading against AI bots if we're not already at some level. I mean, we're already dealing with algorithmic trading and things like that. So when you're trying to day trade in the market or swing trade or whatever case, you're not fighting against other people anymore. You're fighting against machines trying to get that buck. Just some food for thought on that for you. Let's go back here a second here, though. So Theramune is the first publicly traded company to become a super validator on the Canton Network. At the Bridge Conference 2025, CEO Mark Wayland explains why they made the move. Let's talk about why they became a super validator. This is important. Lots of information about Theramune coming up.
Yeah, Mark, if I invite you into the liquidity conversation, you know, given your background of market making, DRW, et cetera, how do you see this kind of evolving all at once? Is there a little bit of a saturation that you're seeing right now?
So I think for Canton, it's a unique situation. We actually closed on the pipe before the listing. And so I think it's a unique kind of early stages. Like we talk about, like, where are we at? Obviously, it's been a big growth in DATs, but like we're in the first inning, top of the first. Like, excuse me. It's a marathon, and so I think from a liquidity side, that's going to kind of evolve over time. Like the listing started this week, and I think you're seeing some price discovery, if you will, on that. It just started trading, and so you have a large ecosystem that are kind of getting liquidity, testing the market, price discovery that you would expect for a first listing. And, you know, I think, as Sal mentioned, like, it's unique to see how that will transform into the underlying stock. And as volume picks up and hopefully continues to pick up and more activity, that will converge as well. But that's early days, and that's how I look at it, where this isn't a sprint, this is a marathon. And I think it's about how you position the DAT and how you evolve that to have really a differentiated value add.
Yeah, it really is about.
So this is a Theramune is a digital asset treasury, right? We've heard about DATs, right? MicroStrategy, Evernorth, things like that, but they are a digital asset treasury for Canton Coin, for the Canton Network. Don't worry, we're going to come back to it, but let's keep on rolling. What does Paul Barron have to say about what's going on in crypto?
Well, we get into neo finance, and this is kind of interesting because there will be a new crop of companies that come out of that. Here was a tweet talking about what they call the N7 index, which is the neobank, neo finance era. You can kind of see some of those in there: Hype, Sky Syrup, Aave, Morpho. I would argue that maybe there's some other opportunities. Sure, Hype I would still hold in there. Aave I like, Morpho I like, of those three. Or when you have someone like a BlackRock jumping into Uniswap. This was a breakdown in this video right here that kind of breaks down what Jupe is doing. They're pausing the team emissions, and they're also postponing the Jupuary indefinitely. How are they going to be able to give revenue share back to the holders? And I think this, again, starts to separate these from many of the others that are out there. Maybe we end up with like a MAG 30 or a MAG 20 in crypto that kind of correlates to this utility and or value package that many of these projects are starting to represent.
So that's a pretty cool idea. And again, it's basically an index fund, right, of 20 or 30 tokens that are going to improve over the next. That's what he's talking about. And we talked about the index ETPs being a major player moving forward as far as like retirement funds and stuff like that, as far as people are going to want a broad exposure to crypto. But yeah, I would agree with that. I think that'd be pretty cool to actually have a different index fund for like the utility, for even the separate sides of the utility, separate layers of the utility, so you could bet on them. But I think that'd be cool. But yeah, we're starting to see a lot more of that. So just in, Federal Reserve to inject $16 billion into the economy this week. Again, they're buying short-term treasuries, things like that. Money being created, added to the Fed balance sheet. This is liquidity coming into the market. Good for stocks, typically. In a massive reversal, the S&P 500 erases all losses on the day and turns green. That was an hour ago. So yes, this morning we did have a massive run up. We haven't even got into price yet when we look at what's going on with the price. But in Bitcoin, we had a dive down and a run up, and now it's coming back down. This looks like it's continuing to stair step down. And don't worry, we'll talk about trading. You guys liked the futures trading I was doing yesterday. We'll talk about that a little bit more. I did some research on the legality and what's allowed and what's not allowed. We will discuss at the end in the Q&A. And again, keep the chat rolling. We will do a live Q&A as soon as I get through all of the information. That's pretty much a whole second half of the stream is just engaging in the chat, because this is more about building a community, more so than me just giving you the news. I give you the news, my thoughts and opinions, and we try to build from there, right? I see a lot of my regulars in the stream as always. Keep the chat rolling for me. Let's get into the rest of the news. All right, so we talked about price not really doing a whole lot of nothing. It's still chopping back and forth, trying to decide if it's going to break above 70K or not. And we'll talk more about price after I get through the news. So S&P rebounding nicely. Canton Network breaking into the top 10 market cap by end of the year, by end of March, says All in Crypto. I actually tend to agree with him. I think we will see Canton Network move into the top 10, either by an appreciation in its own price or by a depreciation and other things. And I see you over there with your Bitcoin. We still follow the price of Bitcoin because the rest of the market does follow it to a certain extent, with a couple rare exceptions that march to the beat of their own drum, like Canton Network. But if we're being honest about what's actually happening in the crypto community, we need to be aware of what's happening with Bitcoin. As much as I don't even hold Bitcoin anymore, we still need to be aware of what's going on with it, because the rest of the market is impacted by Bitcoin. It's a fact of life. It's reality for what it is. BitSafe says CIP56 goes beyond a token interface to giving Canton the compliance and privacy layer that will bring regulated institutions on chain. Again, we've been hearing a lot about privacy of transactions. That's what institutions want. That's what they need. That's what's going to make them feel all safe and warm and fuzzy, so they can still do their backdoor dealings and play in the system where people can't understand. We know this to be true, but it's a fact of reality. For those wondering how Canton Network is rapidly approaching a top 10 position on CoinMarketCap, the world's largest institutions, including BlackRock and ARK, have been indirectly buying Canton through a NASDAQ-listed company whose core strategy is to hold and earn CC plus validate. Theramune raised 540 million to buy Canton and run validators. Now they've officially rebranded it to Canton Strategic Holdings, now available on the New York Stock Exchange under ticker CNTN, starting trading tomorrow. So yes, BlackRock and ARK have been buying it under Theramune. Now it's going to be a different treasury company positioned as Canton. So yes, there is a Canton Network Canton Coin Treasury company that is live now under Theramune, but it'll be rebranded and launched tomorrow under ticker CNTN. If you want to invest in Canton without having to go to different brokerages or exchanges to accumulate it, that will be an option for you, not financial advice. This was interesting. This is Caleb and Brown, link in the description, shameless plug. I am a Caleb and Brown partner. I love them. They are great. I get all my Canton through Caleb and Brown. That being said, this is Caleb and Brown interviewing with Paul Barron, because they are now using the XRP ledger. Listen to what words he actually uses here.
Ripple payments now live with Caleb and Brown.
And it was really tricky for us because we're trying to scale a crypto business, but we depend on these old dinosaur banking sector industry. With Ripple payments, we've been able to capitalize on better Swift technology, such that our accounting team can just click through and wipe out hundreds and hundreds of US dollar withdrawals in a matter of minutes instead of hours. So with this, it's basically a bridge between the innovation and the speed of the crypto industry with the reality that the US dollar and traditional banking systems still exist. So Ripple payments is a solution for that. The outcome for them is if they're doing withdrawals, they're getting the funds significantly faster, and it's allowing us significant scale.
So you're essentially using the new Swift, Ripple.
Bingo! There you go. There you have it. And that is live at Caleb and Brown. And I can attest that if you put money on there or take it off there, the transfer fees are extremely cheap because they are using the XRP ledger. Gotta love crypto. Gotta love it. Now, when you're talking about Canton Network, I told you I would keep you guys updated because there's not a lot of hardware available for storing your Canton or even deploying it, but there is going to be more available as it continues to roll out. USDCX is available on Canton Network, is built for controlled transparency. USDCX enables USDC-backed settlement with configurability, privacy, allowing participants to share transaction details strictly on a need-to-know basis. This means settlement without broadcasting sensitive flows, privacy, preserving transfers between approved counterparties from payroll to pay-ins and payouts. Again, they're moving a multi-trillion-dollar payroll layer onto the Canton Network. A compliance-aware design without sacrificing capital or efficiency, without sacrificing capital efficiency. I can't talk today for whatever reason. USDCX maintains a one-to-one interoperability with USDC while supporting private atomic settlement across Canton native applications, available now in the wallet for both individual or enterprise users. So there you go. Again, now they are moving USDCX, which is a wrapped version of USDC, but has full privacy that's need-to-know basis. This is going to be the future of how things are transacted on Ledger. I mean, it's going to be privacy everywhere. QE/not QE, this is what we were talking about earlier, is ramping up this week. The Fed is injecting $8 billion on the 18th and $8 billion on the 20th. Liquidity is entering the system. Quantitative tightening is over. Quantitative tightening's been over for about a month and a half now. Balance sheet support is back. Rate cuts are on deck. Every major asset class is pushing highs except crypto. So, when will crypto catch up? That is the question. He says it's blatantly obvious what's happening. Regulatory clarity is the final gate. In my opinion, when the bill passes, the rotation into crypto, especially the alts, is going to be beyond comprehension. This is the calm before the generational bull market. Is there going to be a generational bull market? I don't know. But if you guys caught my last video I did on Sunday when I'm talking about the biggest lie in crypto, and I'll repeat it now, okay? It's not about giant bull markets. It's not about 100x tokens. It's about investing over the long term consistently in the projects that you know, love, and believe in. And who knows, even if 10 years goes by and you only get a 10x, if you're investing let's do some math. Let's do some math here real quick. Let me get back. Hang on a sec. All right, get the whiteboard. So if we're doing $500 every month for 12 months, which is 120 months, right? So we got $500 a month for 120 months. That's going to be $60,000, right? Over 10 years. Doesn't seem like a whole lot. Can you see it in there? Okay. First time using the whiteboard here, so hopefully you can hear me. So that's going to be $60,000, right? If we do a 5x over 10 years, that's going to be $300,000. If we do a 10x, let me give you your zeros here. And if we do a 10x, that's going to be $600,000. You're starting to get the picture here, right? So even with a modest gain over 10 years, you're almost a millionaire, okay? This is how wealth is built. It's not built off of a 100x token. That's called luck, right? Now, granted, you have to position yourself. You have to do the research, but you can't bank on a 100x token. It's not realistic to live that way. But I think it's more realistic to diversify in different assets you like. I hold 5 different cryptos, and crypto holds half of my portfolio. Not financial advice. Most people say that's still too much crypto. But crypto holds half of my portfolio, but the other half is silver, gold, copper, and real estate, right? I just sold a house last month when we're talking about the housing bubble here. Just sold a house last month because I was fearful of the same thing. Housing prices are at beyond all-time highs for damn sure. What goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. So I'm rotating out of housing and I'm switching to rent, at least for the time being, while I am dollar cost averaging in this crypto drop. Will it be stupid? Could be. We'll find out. Or I could make a lot of money and be right. But I gotta trust my gut and trust my instincts. Those are my opinions, thoughts, and beliefs. You have to do your own research and come up with your own. Let's get back to news. Keep the chat rolling though, guys. It seems like the chat is slowing down. Hopefully the stream's picking up, but I really don't know. It's been kind of quiet the last few days in the streams. There's only been like 20 to 30 people. We had a run where we had like 50 to 60 to 70 every single day, and then it just dropped down to 20. Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I should bring back the clickbait titles. They seem to get attention when I was doing those. Let's see here. So Justin, Justin, the CFTC chair, says crypto market structure bill is on the cusp and is getting signed into law. We want to future-proof our statutory framework for crypto. We can't allow Gary Gensler 2.0 to come in and tear it all up. This is basically what I've been saying. He's going to read it.
Thanks to the president's leadership, we are on the cusp of getting clarity enacted into law. The regulation by enforcement over the Genius Act signed into law, and we've really turned a new page. And I would say the United States today is the crypto capital of the world. But we need to make sure that it stays that way. And this Clarity Act is really critical. The president has been clear that we need to get something enacted into law because we want to future-proof our statutory framework for crypto. We can't allow for Gary Gensler 2.0 to come in and tear it all up. And so this legislation is critical. It's all hands on deck, and we're making a push to get it done. There are some little wrinkles around the point you mentioned on the yield front, which we thought some of this was settled with the Genius Act, but it's coming back to the bear. But we're going to get this thing across the line, and we're going to make sure the United States is and remains the crypto capital of the world. Well, thanks to the president's leadership.
Still waiting on stablecoin yield discussions. Again, White House meeting next week is the last of the information we have. They have to get it past the Senate Banking Committee before it goes to a Senate floor vote. Zach Rector saying one thing we can all agree on, XRP is undervalued. Yes, we know. Circle, this is just the beginning of autonomous AI transactions on chain. WatchBits, OpenMind, RobotDog, USDC, and our new agentic commerce solution to complete real machine-to-machine nano payments to recharging itself. So look at this. You'll be able to. Let's watch this.
As an engineer, this is one of the most exciting times to be alive.
Run it up.
What's really exciting right now is that large language models can be repurposed not only to generate text or video, but also to control physical things. OpenMind built open source cognition for this machine. It remembers, learns, and decides all on its own.
We see autonomous machines all around us now, and self-driving cars are a great example. It needs to pay for parking, charging, and road access all by itself. Or picture a robot running around and doing errands for somebody. It needs charging on the go. How does it actually pay?
So there's an entire world that now needs to be built from a technology perspective to make it easy for autonomous machines to transact with other machines and also to coordinate with people. And practically speaking, we're seeing these robots struggle with current commerce infrastructure.
Current infrastructure is designed to be catered for humans and requires a lot of manual intervention.
We're working with Circle because as our robots become more and more autonomous, they can do more and more things.
You can imagine different.
All right, I'm not going to go on with any more of that, but we get the point. I mean, robots are going to have to transact with other robots in the future because say here in the next 10 years, it's going to be to the point where you need to charge your car or fill up your gas. Your car is going to talk to the pump. Like, it's not going to have anything to do with you. In the near future, that is what we are looking at. It's a scary thought, but it is true. We already talked about the $16 billion injection with $8 billion on the 18th tomorrow and $8 billion on the 20th. Probably nothing, XRP, but HSBC is using Ripple's acquired Medico's harmonized platform to provide tokenized securities. We're going to see this again. This attaches with Swift. Remember, HSBC just announced that it was becoming a validator on Canton Network as well. Starting to notice a trend here between all of these tokens that we talk about. HBAR, Chainlink, Ondo, Canton Network, all of them are, they're all working behind the scenes, XRP. We watched this on Privacy yesterday. We're not going to watch the full 6-minute video, but CEO of Digital Asset, the company behind Canton Network, again, agreeing that privacy is what's holding businesses back from entering into this sector. Now, when we were just talking about the HSBC with Swift, this is who HSBC appoints to its technological advisory board. We see a familiar name. Chris Larsen, the executive chairman of Ripple, is on the advisory board for HSBC, who is both working with Canton Network and Swift. We're starting to see a lot of overlapping names, folks. Again, not financial advice, but we got to connect the dots. What does Monica Long have to say in regards to privacy and the XRP ledger?
I think I can do it in a minute. I'm up for the challenge. My name is Monica Long, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Decentralized identity is, so it's a big topic. There's a lot in there to unpack, but if I were to try to explain in a minute why I'm excited about decentralized identity, it's the idea that people can take back ownership of their identities. Today, we are all very much owned by big centralized Web 2 companies like Google and Facebook and Apple, etc. And I mean, those are the gates to pretty much anything that we do online or in the world. And in a Web 3 context with decentralized identity, I will now be able to take back ownership of my identity and all my information in a token that's transportable around the world and I can delegate access to. The other thing that I'm really excited about is I think this will blow open access to things like financial services for a lot of different people and increase financial inclusion. That was really hard.
All right, so again, more inclusion, and we'll be able to, according to Monica Long, we'll be able to take our identity back from Google. We'll be able to take our identity back from Apple and have our own personal tokenized identity that we can decide who has access to our information and who doesn't. That would be, if we have full control over it, I might be on board with it. But again, how do we know we have full control? What's programmed into the back end of it? We don't know. All In Crypto asked if you could invest $1,000 into one of these, which would you do? If you guys follow me on X, you already know I said split it. I can't pick only one. I would split it between the two of those. I couldn't choose. This is again talking about housing affordability, again at all-time highs. If you look at the chart where we were before the, I don't know why it says 2006, but before the bubble actually collapsed in 2008, then if you look at 2025, we are well beyond that, with the average salary these days being 46,000, or excuse me, with average salary these days being 59,000 and the average home price being 450,000. It is a ridiculous gap, and it's going to crash. People can't afford to live, unfortunately, at these prices unless you have a very good job or you're a good entrepreneur. Breaking US national debt is set to surge 2.4 trillion per year over the next 10 years, according to the new estimates. As a result, the US debt will likely reach a record 64 trillion in 2036, doubling from its 2023 levels. That would be triple the debt recorded in 2018 before COVID. So think about that, guys. We have already almost doubled our debt since COVID. That is ridiculous, and it's not slowing down. It's only increasing. You can see it on this chart ever since we came off the gold standard. Eventually, our dollar is going to be worth almost nothing or next to nothing. It will require physical assets. I don't care, and again, this is my opinion, not financial advice. I don't care what the stock market's doing. It can go up, down, sideways, indifferent, whatever. My investment is to assets that I can own. Right? Because as our dollar loses value, it's going to look like everything's going up, right? But it's not that necessarily everything's going up. It's that our dollar is worth less. It's true. So if you're sitting with cash in the bank, you are going to lose everything. It has to be invested in some kind of real asset that's at least going to hold its real world value as the dollar continues to be debased. My opinion. So Ripple's RLUSD breaks the top 50 tokens by market cap. And again, here's another link to HSBC with Ripple-owned Medico. Permission DEX on the XRP going live in less than 24 hours. I do think this is going to be a bigger deal than most people are going to realize, as far as XRP is a bridge. It needs something to bridge between, and it's going to be the auto bridge on these DEXs. So as this goes live, we're going to see more real utility. I'm really interested to see what happens on the XRP ledger activity when this goes live tomorrow, because we've seen this run up of account set activity, right, for months of accounts getting turned on. Imagine if that starts moving into payments and auto bridging tomorrow, what this might look like. I'm really excited to see if it's actually going to transition to payments volume once this DEX goes live tomorrow. Again, my opinion, not financial advice, but that is what I am looking for. So, moving on, here's how desperate Bitcoin is right now. This is the biggest news I could find for the overall crypto market and Bitcoin, at least as of today. Steak and Shake reports Bitcoin acceptance has dramatically lifted sales in the last 9 months. So crypto adoption is still spreading, but again, it's Bitcoin is the only thing people know, even though it's, probably the worst token out there for transacting on that kind of level. Again, talking about the permission DEX that's going to be boosting institutional access going live in less than 24 hours. XRP's demand remains strong with nearly 4.5 million flowing into the XRP focused products in the last 24 hours. The permission DEX amendment builds on the previous XLS 80, enhancing the platform's functionality for permission domains. So we have the DEX, we have the privacy layer that's going live or is live already. XRP's price could explode if the Clarity Act passes in April. XRP faces pressure as Clarity Act vote nears. A breakout above $1.65 could spark a rally, while $1.11 to 90 cents remains the key support. So again, we have to wait. We're chopping between $1.65 and $1.11, right? Our current high and low, essentially. We did tap $1.65 not long ago. Regulatory clarity may boost XRP, but technical weakness persists. April's Clarity Act decision could define the next major trend. So this is already assuming the Clarity Act decision is going to happen in April. Again, we still need to get it past the Senate Banking Committee. Nothing happens until that. We're still stuck in the same place. Again, they're talking about the XRP's price bottom, showing a bounce off of up to 230 after a double bottom on the $1.10, $1.11 line here. So will there be a double bottom? Will it fall back to $1.10 before it rises up again? We will find out. Could be another good buying opportunity to dollar cost average in, but Bitcoin is on its way back up again. However, I think this is a bearish divergence when I'm looking at it, because RSI is rising while price is falling. That's not a good sign. If it were me, I would go, if it were me looking at this, I would say I'm probably going to go short right now. But we are supposed to get liquidity injected into the market overnight. So we'll see how that plays out. You know what? Hell, while we're going through because I do think this is going to go down from here. So while we're going through the Q&A, I will go ahead and enter a short position here at 69.10. If it'll go back up. Oh, it just jumped way up. It didn't give it to me. Okay, so it jumped. Well, that's your contract was rejected. Okay, because it jumped. Well, that's good. It literally spiked right as I was trying to short it. So that worked out well for me. Will it continue to go up? I don't know. I think it's going to roll over, though. I do. So let me see here. It's still going up. I'll wait then. Anyway, so I did do some research though. We were talking about live trading. You guys were interested in, or some of you guys were interested in the live trading. I thought I might be able to do it in like members only live streams. That is not allowed because apparently that's closer to financial advice because you have to pay to become a member. So, but it is perfectly legal for me to do it in public streams as long as I continuously remind you guys that this is just what I do in my life. This is my opinions for entertainment and education. It is not financial advice. These are not for you to make these trades or do any of these things. But after that substantial run up, and it's going to do it again, I'm going to do right here. Yeah. I want to do it here. I still agree. Still stop at 61.50. And now you drop to 45. Really? Said it was rejected. Why is it rejected? I have money. Maybe I'm going to have to wait for it to come back to it. I'm going to put it in at 61.30 and hopefully it runs up and fills it. There you go. All right, so we are entering that position. If it runs back up to it, we'll see if it does. It's got to run back up to 68.130. And now it's falling. I couldn't get in the damn thing the right way. See if it'll run. I never chased the position though. I thought this is where it was going to be, but I thought this was where it was going to go. So let's talk about the chat here while this is going here. So let's see. Let me hop in the chat. We'll see. I should hear it if that gets filled. I appreciate everyone taking your time to be here. Your time is your most valuable possession, so I never take it lightly. And hopefully this is showing up over here. Let me make sure it is. Yeah, is it showing up? Let's see. It's not showing up there. Does it show up here? Ah, my chat's not showing up. Let me fix the chat. Unfortunate. That should work. Let's see. Is it working? Why is it not working? Browser, why do you hate me? Copy. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to fix the chat here so I can talk to you all. It's not wanting to pop up for me like it's supposed to. That's not right. Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to pull up the chat. I don't know why. I've done it twice. It's still not working for me. But I can see it and talk to you guys. So let me just talk here. We'll pull up the screen view so you guys can still watch what's going on with the price. See if that gets filled or not. Quelly and Sir Charles were both in the house today. When you have a minute, do you have info and opinion on Aave? I've heard about them offering yield, working with Ripple, but wondering your thoughts. I have not researched that one yet, Quelly. I have not researched that yet, but I will take a look. Raul in the house today. Todd Madison's back from vacation. Three Brothers says, good afternoon, XRP family. Valentina had words for Bitcoin. He says, F Bitcoin. XRP will do well this year. And again, my holdings are XRP, Canton Network, Chainlink, HBAR, and Ondo. I invest every single month. I dollar cost average in for the long view. That's what I'm about, but that's just me. In the past 2 to 4 weeks, whales bought 53,000 Bitcoin while 3.8 billion drained out of ETFs, hedge funds, and unwinding. But whales are loading up. I wonder who ends up being right. That's the wonderful game we play, Sir Charles. I mean, that truly is the game we play. I've been buying the dip as we've been going down on all of, on all of my pillars, if you will, my infrastructure assets. And because of that, I'm currently green right now. But again, we're here for the long view. So DCA is the way. I didn't think I would ever say this because I feel so strong about XRP, but if I can break even on my XRP price, I think I will roll my money into Canton. I just can't stand Bitcoin controlling crypto. That makes sense because, I mean, yeah, Canton is not moving with Bitcoin. We can see that clear as day, but we're also starting to see a lot of the other tokens kind of start to move away on their own as far as Bitcoin dominance is starting to weaken a little bit when we're looking at what's actually happening overall in the broader market. At what point do you think the infrastructure story overwhelms the bear market narrative? When we start seeing transactions go over 5 million, like over 5 million, 6 million, because at that point there's so much demand for XRP that the overall market sentiment shouldn't make the price go down, right? Because at that point it's being transacted enough, it should maintain its level. Probably around like when it gets to like 5 million transactions per day, 6 million transactions per day, I think at that point, then we start to see a real breakaway as far as the utility versus bear market narrative, because it'll have to maintain a price to maintain that level of activity on the ledger, right? Or it'll have to start going up. That's my opinion, though. No one is talking about Coinbase's earnings report 2 days ago. Not true, good sir. I actually brought it up 2 days ago, and I also paired it with Robinhood's earnings report. Not to mention, we have more earnings coming in this week, but I was talking about it specifically because of the reduction in retail purchasing and retail trading of cryptocurrency, not only on just Coinbase, but on Robinhood as well. Because I was making the point that retail is away from crypto. Retail has gone away. They have flown the coop. They have moved on to sports betting and prediction markets. So we are going to be relying, on institutional movements, especially at this point when we're talking about this amount of money. It's going to have to deal with institutions. Retail FOMO won't come back until we have some kind of massive push, and then retail will hop back in again and complete the cycle like they always do. We've seen it, 3 times now? This will be the 4th cycle, essentially. So, I mean, we see it happen every single time. As soon as the price starts to rocket up, here comes FOMO. Here comes retail, and they buy at the top, and then it sells off, and they get sad. And some of you may have been that person who bought at the top in the last cycle. Unfortunately, it's part of the process. That's why we dollar cost average in over time, and we buy over time. I'm here for what's going to happen over the next 10 years. Not necessarily what the price is today, tomorrow, next week. These robot dogs are extremely creepy. I tend to agree with you, Sir Charles. I'm not a big fan of the robots. Tokenized commodities on XRPL are up 920% in the last 30 days. I don't think anyone is paying attention to this while the price is still at $1.48. We were actually talking about that yesterday, Sir Charles, when we were talking about tokenization being up over the last 30 days. The top 2 of the top 3 tokens or top 3 blockchains that were leading in tokenization over the last 30 days. Number 2 was XRP and number 3 was Canton Network. We pointed that out yesterday in stream. Hi, y'all. Good to see you, folks. Welcome, Judah. Appreciate you taking the time to be here today. About 1/3 of all US dollars in existence were created since 2020. Yeah. Buy on or CC? On or CC? Are you saying Ondo or CC? I'm really high on CC right now. Again, not financial advice. You guys have to do what's best for you, but I'm really high on CC right now just because the amount of activity that's heading that way. I don't know if you knew this, but you can get a scrolling ticker for YouTube so you don't have to just keep saying it. Oh, the not financial advice thing. Oh, I did put one on the bottom of my screen there so I can put it on there. Sir Charles said 25 people were watching. I appreciate you guys. Canton has way too many players joined to them to be hexed by Bitcoin's drop. Canton is really a different bird, but I cannot buy it on Uphold because they won't allow you to take it off. Well, yeah, because it's so there's very, very select few wallets that you can actually hold Canton on. And I mean, very select few. And because of what you just said, you actually can't take it off the exchange. So because of what you just said, I actually use Caleb and Brown to buy my Canton because they hold it in cold storage institutional custody until there's other avenues of holding it. But honestly, if you think about it, I mean, it's not meant to be moved from hardware wallet to hardware wallet. It is truly a utility token. So the fact that, and I actually kind of think that's a good thing. The fact that you can't get it off onto a normal hardware wallet. And there will be more options available as it continues to roll out. Again, you have to think, this just really burst onto the scene. It's been around since 2014, but it really didn't burst onto the scene until January. Will you offer different levels of membership in the future? Yes, I will have different levels of membership in the future. Right now, I'm leaving it as it is, where it is right now for all of my founding members. And then that way, as I add more things later and the price goes up, the founding members are going to pay the same price and they'll get everything that's added from this point on. That is my goal, my mission, my thank you to my founding members, is that if you're a member now, you will never pay more. It'll always be the same founding member price for everything that comes later. And then once we get through those first 100 members, then I'll have to start changing things up again. But that's my thank you to everyone who helps me get the channel started and growing. Would you switch your XRP for CC for real? I thought you were forever holder. I wouldn't. I'm not switching my XRP. I don't know where oh, that's because someone else was saying it. Oh, I was reading a question, Quelly. That's not me. Someone else was saying that. Stephen Haynes, I think, was saying that. He said right here, my comments are not popping up on the screen like they usually are when I'm reading them. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to fix it. I don't know why it's not working. But that was Stephen Haynes. I'm not selling my XRP. I have a stack of XRP and I have a stack of Canton that I'm holding. It's not going anywhere. Let's see here. I can get it for the Braun wallet, but that's $20 a month, but you can stake on it, so that might be a good option. There's several options. Kraken has the Canton Network. So here's the thing. Lots of places you can purchase CC. But the issue a lot of people have is that you can't move CC off of the exchange because there's a very select amount of cold wallets that can actually hold Canton, okay? That can actually access the network. There are more coming out every day, it seems like, and I'm following it, and I'll let you guys know as I see more of them. And the cool thing about some of the wallets I've actually seen come online is that they are designed to interact with the Canton Network, so you can actually earn and stake your CC. So there's already ways to earn more Canton on the network. So, because what Canton actually is there to do is to reward people who use the network. The more the network is used, the more Canton is earned. So the more utility, more is earned, but the more is burned. Earned and burned. So that's why I like it, personally. But there will be more stuff that comes out. So really, as far as what people think as far as accumulating their Canton is which exchange is better than the other, it really doesn't matter. Which one has the best custody? Which one do you trust the most? Because you're not going to be able to remove it from the exchange. So that's why I actually use a brokerage for that specific thing. But that's just me. I have all the options I use in the description. There's a 10% link off Tangem, which is what I use for my cold storage / warm wallet. And then I also have a link for EliPal, which is where I have my air gap cold storage wallet from. And then Caleb and Brown, which is the brokerage I use. There's a different option for everyone for each different situation. And those are all the things I use. So up to you. Links are in the description. I appreciate you all. But as far as my thoughts on Kraken, I've messed with it a little bit. I prefer Robinhood to Kraken. Robinhood's just more user friendly and you get the instant deposits. It's easier to move around. Honestly, now the thing with Robinhood is it doesn't have access to a lot of the newer tokens, which I really don't get into a whole lot of. And if I want to get into it, I'll do it through Caleb and Brown. It's really that simple. So I really don't need to mess with my system too much. So I haven't used Kraken. I've used Uphold. I've used Robinhood. I've used Coinbase. I don't like Coinbase. But I mean, Uphold's good as well. But I just don't really have a need to use another exchange right now. The system I have seems to work really, really well. And you're good, Quelly. It's all good. Well, even if you were watching, you wouldn't have been able to see because the comments aren't popping up on the screen like they usually do. Is what it is. It's how it goes sometimes. Let's see. Let's check in on our trade, though. I haven't heard any noise. It doesn't look like it's getting, because I'm not looking at the same screen you guys are. So let me actually pull it back up and see what we're doing here. Oh, it did fill it. Okay. So it filled and it's losing because I went short. So let me see here. I'm going to put a stop right here at 68,400 so I don't lose my ass. Wait, we don't want that. We want to do 68,400 because that's short. So as it goes up, I do worse. So I want to do a buy. Yeah, there we go. So that way, and we're going to do that at 400. So that way, if it continues to go up, I'll get stopped out. If it goes down, I will win money. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research. This is just what I do. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen, but we can see if this plays out. So if it continues to go down, I will make money. If it continues to go up, I will continue to lose money. And it's not looking in my favor right now. It is stretched out pretty far away from VWAP and EMA, though. It should have a nice pullback. We'll see what happens as it goes. But the one I entered in yesterday, actually, because we entered in yesterday just on a whim, it actually ended up running up, and I ended up making like $60 off of it before I got stopped out of it. I did a trailing stop, so that was cool. As I was just kind of doing an explainer on it, I ended up making $60 off that one. Let me see here. I know you don't care much for Jake Claver's theories, but did you see the Strait of Hormuz is partially closed, another one of his dominoes? Well, I mean, it's not, I don't want to say I don't necessarily don't care for his theories or do care for his theories. A lot of the things that he says as far as dominoes for the global macroeconomic play, if you will, are true. But what's promised behind it is usually not true, right? So, I mean, I can call out a lot of dominoes that will come true and say that if it happens, this price will happen. And that's where I try to stay away from it. You know what I mean? There's no guarantee that those dominoes are going to increase the price. Like, there's no guarantee those catalysts are going to, you know, set ablaze exactly the way he's saying it. And I think that's where it's not that I necessarily disapprove or dislike Jake's theories. I disapprove or dislike the promises that come with them. How about that? I dislike or disapprove the promises that come with Jake's theories. That's just me. And Raul wants a free month. Because you guys, why? Because you guys pressured me to do something I probably shouldn't have and got lucky and made some money with it. You know, that is how it goes sometimes. It was like the last time I bought a scratcher. I never buy those because they're a waste of money. But my daughter, she likes it when I do them. I typically don't because I honestly think they're the biggest waste of money. My girlfriend loves them. So I'm like, all right, I'll get one. So I bought a scratcher. Last one I bought had to have been like probably 3 months ago. Damn thing won $500. I was like, I shouldn't even be doing this. This is stupid. Wins $500. But like, I swear, like whenever I do something I think I'm not supposed to, it always seems to work out for me until it doesn't. You can't live your life that way, obviously. But I don't know. It's funny how that works sometimes. Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh man, we're already almost at an hour. This stream flew by. How's everyone doing this week? Keep the chat rolling. Let's just have we'll just have a casual trading hangout. I'm not doing anything. If anything, I'll get on my other channel and stream there. And honestly, that stream is completely empty. So I'll just hang out with you all. We can just have a little hangout right now. I would turn it into a members only live stream for the trade, but I'm legally not allowed to do that. So I guess I have to leave it public. While we're waiting for this, I'm going to try one more time to see if I can fix this. Let me try and close this and do it again. I'm going to try and fix this chat. Because if we're going to just be doing a hangout, you guys need to be able to see who's talking, right? It's kind of silly if you can't. So let me try and fix the chat real quickly. Real quick like. There's 20 people in the stream right now. That's okay. I love you, my 20 people in the stream. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for spending your time. Because I'm assuming it's my regulars here, especially since we're an hour into it right now. We're going to pop out this chat. And we're going to copy the overlay. Maybe. There we go. Copy. And then we're going to put the overlay here into the browser. And will it work? Survey says. Did it work? It is not working. Why does it hate me? Okay. I give up on the chat thing. I don't know why it won't work. That's annoying. Some folks at the gas station yesterday spent $300 on scratchers. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, dude, some people are crazy. You see them at Price Chopper I see my Price Chopper because I'm in the Midwest, but I see them at the grocery store all the time. They're always walking in and they always and then they go out to the car, they scratch and they bring the one winner back. You know what I mean? Crazy. I'm all good here in the Philippines. It's 3 a.m., but I'm just chilling. Well, I did that the other day. I was just chilling on my other stream until midnight and no one came into it. I was told, why you buying gold and silver when it was 20 and look at it now? I know it dropped. I'm still ahead. Exactly. That's why it's for the long view. Right, Raul? I mean, that's the entire point of the long view. Yeah, it's going to drop. It's going to go up. It's going to drop. It's going to go up. It's going to drop. But as long as it's higher than where it was when you started, you're winning. You only lose if you sell for a loss. I mean, honestly. An unrealized loss is not a loss. Let's see what's going on with this. Yay! Price going up. I like seeing price go up. Oh, you guys aren't seeing the price go up. There you go. So I'm in the green now. That's good. And as this pulls back, we'll see what happens. I'll be right back 1 second. I'm just going to go run and use the restroom. When streams go longer than an hour, I have to take a quick little break. Got my power shirt on today. And I'm back. It was a $5 profit a second ago. Nice. Yeah, that's how it goes. I don't know if you ever watched Crypto Canvas's channel, but he did a really good video on Visa is going to transition to agentic commerce very soon. No, I haven't seen that. I honestly haven't watched a whole lot of other crypto channels recently, ever since, because now I do the 2 channels. So between researching for this channel and making videos for this channel and then working on the other one and then having real life. Like, I mean, it's a full-time gig, especially for me. You know, because I had the stroke, so I have limited brain power I can use every single day. So really, it's quite crazy sometimes. Sometimes I, like yesterday, as soon as I got off the stream, I crashed out. I don't know if you guys noticed that yesterday I was struggling a little bit. So $2 right now though. Oh, 0. Come on now. I hate to scream for Bitcoin to go down, but Lee Little, that's a new name. Where are you from, Lee? I don't recognize that name. Where are you from, good sir? Still at break even. It's like the most boring trade ever. Do something. I mean, it was trying to screw me right off the get. But we'll see what it does. Watch it just chop here for eternity. And if you're new to the stream, engage in the chat. This is just a hangout right now. I've already gone through the information. So if you have questions, opinions, thoughts, concerns, this is a community channel, essentially. I mean, yes, I deliver news and that stuff every day, but on Coinbase predictions, I won over $7,000 and doggone it, I lost it all. I wish I bought more XRP with that. Yeah, see, the prediction markets, man, they're getting everybody. And that's where a lot of the retail has gone because crypto's treated like a lottery ticket, or at least it was, especially in the early stages of crypto. People didn't look at it as a long-term investment. It was viewed as a lottery ticket. So because of the emergence of the prediction markets and then sports betting and parlays and all that stuff, that's what people want to gamble. It's different. It's literally like different forms of legalized gambling. Is all it is. I mean, especially when you get into leverage and things like that with these markets. I mean, there's risk. That's gambling. Now, the difference is between going to a casino and doing something like this is you can at least stack the odds in your favor here somewhat. I mean, they do manipulate the market, stop outs and stuff like that. So you can at least, enter into positions you like. It's kind of the same principle when I go to the casino. I only play Texas Hold'em at the casino. I don't play slots. I don't like that way I can decide what hand I'm getting into. Like it's funny, like my entire principles towards investing, I'm thinking about it now. It kind of applies to poker too. It applies to just about every aspect of my life is the funny thing. Lots of gambling commercials out there too, says Sir Charles. Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. The great state of Texas, been following you for a while, quietly. I appreciate that, Lee Little. Okay. Yeah, I lived in Texas for 6 years. I lived in Wichita Falls, Texas, when I was stationed at Shepherd Air Force Base. Love Texas. Love San Antonio. Visited there several times. Dallas area as well. I also lived in Oklahoma for a while. I lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for a while, but I live in Kansas City now. I've been all over the country, I feel like. Just about. I've probably visited about half the states. I do want to do a lot more traveling. What up, race fan? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you taking the time to be here today. But I'm glad you finally spoke up, Lee. Thank you for joining the chat. I appreciate it. And I think a lot of people who join kind of just need to take a minute to get a feel for the fact that, yeah, this is really what I do and who I am. It's not a game. It's not an act. You lived in Irving, Texas when you worked in Plano. Okay. And well, the cool thing about when I was living in Texas, when I was at Shepherd Air Force Base, so I was in the Air Force Honor Guard. For those of you who don't know what the Air Force Honor Guard is, those are the people who dress up in the fancy outfits and do the burial services and the flag displays and stuff like that. So they have a national team and then they have a local team. So because the national team can't do all of the funerals and all of the stuff, right? So I was on the local team or the regional team. So I had to go do a lot of those services. I was on a rotation where I did my job for 2 months and I did that job for a month. So every 3 months I had to go and do the honor guard services. So I was traveled all around Texas, Now, unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of it because most of the time we were just going to a cemetery or to a funeral home to pick up a casket or whatever the case may be. But we were the ones who would carry the casket, fold the flag, you know, the 21 gun salute, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it was great, but I carried more bodies and handed flags to more grieving widows than I would ever care to count my entire life. It definitely numbs you. It definitely numbs you emotionally to actually what's taking place at a funeral when you do that. And hopefully that was an interesting story to you guys because that just came out of nowhere. But I can tell military stories for days. The good old days in the Air Force when I was in my 20s. Can't Ledger Nano accept CC? I don't think so. When I was doing my research, I certainly didn't see that. Let's see here. Ledger. So Ledger Nano. I didn't see that. Let's take a look. Let's Google Ledger Nano and CC. What hardware wallets can hold CC? Top hardware wallets supporting Credit Coin? No, not Credit Coin, not CTC. No, okay. There's a second. Can hold Canton Coin. I don't think Tangent Wallet can. See, yeah, I don't think any of these can. Hardware wallets that support Canton Network include, oh, it says right here, include Ledger, CipherRock, and Tangent. These devices allow for secure self-custody of Canton Coin with options for managing assets on the blockchain. CipherRock as well. So, and Tangent, it says. I'll have to look and see if I can transfer my Tangent. Last I saw, you couldn't. I'll do some more research, but I do have Tangent, but the only thing I don't like, I'll have to see what Tangent has for an air-gapped wallet. I'm going to leave it, if it's just the one I have, which is connected to a DEX, I don't want to hold it there. I'll leave it in institutional custody at that point. But according to Google AI, Ledger, CipherRock, and Tangent can hold your CC. So there you go. And if you want a link to Tangent, in the description. You get 10% off. Use the code LONGVIEW. Hey, I'm up 50 cents. At least I'm not losing money. And you're very welcome. Is it Maya? Is it Maya or Maya? And now we're losing again. But yeah, last time, I mean, this can go on all day. I mean, last time when I did the one yesterday, I literally got off here and started playing my video game and came back to it later. Because I don't sit here and watch it all day, usually. But right now, it's just to hang out with me talking with you guys. Because honestly, I'm curious, what do you guys think? Because, I mean, it's more of a community channel. And I see some people hopping in and hopping out. And it's more of a community channel. We cover the news. Like, what are some things you guys would like to see in the show that might help people stick around? You know what I mean? What do you guys think? Anyone have some good ideas on growing the community? Aside from, you know, live trades and the news that I always do. But I'm not going to, I can't give people false promises and clickbait. I refuse to do it. I'm trying to really carve out a niche in the infrastructure play of having, because everyone talks about one specific token and they're trying to play it up. And I just don't feel like that's the way to go. It's not one versus the other. Like, there's going to be a handful that win and a handful that lose, in my opinion. And I just want to have a couple of that handful that win. And I think that XRP and Canton Network and HBAR and Chainlink and Ondo, based on their adoption, their use case, their utility, I think they have a chance to be involved in that. Maybe have a way to submit questions ahead of time that you can research and answer on the live. Okay. Okay. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Quelly. I like that. Let me think on how I might be able to do that. I'm actually thinking I literally am going through ideas in my head right now of a good way to do that. I could have people put a comment on the previous video or on the previous live stream that I can come back to and do later. I think for what I've seen is the channels that do crypto news mixed with what you are bullish on and bearish on. Okay, well, that's kind of what I do. Do a hot seat segment where chat members share their positions and you give real-time feedback. That's bordering on financial advice, unfortunately. If I'm picking apart someone's portfolio, that would border on financial advice, and unfortunately, without me having my license yet, that would be illegal, and I could get in trouble. Be bad juju. I could get in trouble both sued and kicked off YouTube, which would not be good. So I mean, when it comes to financial stuff, you have to walk a fine line because you can't really give financial advice. Talk about your stock market positions like REITs, okay. All right. You think the crypto community be interested in REITs and how to select REITs and real estate and how they work? Cuz I feel like the more traditional investments, when I do bring those up, people are just not interested because they're not going to make you a 5x or a 10x. You know, they might make you, 10% over the course of a year. But that's why we risk versus non-risk, right? That's why you have a diversified portfolio. That's why when, price goes down, I don't get freaking destroyed. No, Robinhood does not have CC. Robinhood doesn't have CC. Coinbase doesn't have CC. Binance doesn't have CC. You can get it on Uphold, Kraken, Caleb and Brown. But yeah, imagine though, think about that though. It's done this massive run up and you can't get it on the 3 biggest exchanges. You can't get it on Coinbase, Robinhood, or Binance. So once it starts getting listed in those areas, once it actually starts getting some national attention, there might be a little FOMO that runs into it. I mean, right now, everything's just based on pure utility for Canton Network, which is what's really, really cool about it, which is why I'm excited about it, why I've been so high about it lately. Quelly says, maybe talk about financial education from a normal person perspective, like what to do with money or not to lose it, how to structure stuff with a CPA, etc. Yeah, no, absolutely. I kind of cover that as far as an educational purpose and one-on-ones. Actually, I've only done one-on-one so far, and it was literally that exact discussion. Just talking about financial education, building a foundation, operating from a place of strength, building multiple sources of income so you're not stuck with just one thing, leaving you in a position of fragility. Like, absolutely. The whole foundational system before investing is, and then, yeah, building, and then on top of that, having an LLC, getting involved with a CPA, like, all of that stuff is exactly what I covered in one-on-ones. Advice on what trust is better, how to segregate money for taxes. Okay. Yeah, so what I can do, Quelly, I think that's actually a very good point. And what I can do is outline the basics of those. Most of that stuff, I will say, like, you'll have to talk to a CPA, but I can show you how rudimentary, I don't know. I can show you how it basically works. I was trying to use a fancy word I couldn't remember how to say. But I can show you how it basically works. But yeah, any of the finer details you'll have to discuss with a CPA, just for the legality issues to make sure you're squared away on your taxes. Because I use an LLC to mitigate money and to move money around for tax purposes as well, versus the business, what's a write-off, what's not a write-off, what my real income is versus what my taxable income is. Yes, rudimentary. Thank you. As soon as you typed it out, it came back to my mind. Lee says, if you have an email in the description dedicated to community questions and then select questions daily and incorporate the results of your research into the daily show, so much is going on. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Well, my email is listed on my page. It's not in the description, but you can go to the contact me section of my channel and my email is there. Several of my members have already found it and email me on the regular. You guys are welcome to. I have no problem talking to people. I'm the same person in real life as I am on camera. I can guarantee you that. Always ask the foreigner, me, for spelling. Well, my spelling is god awful. I'll be the first to tell you that my spelling is absolutely god awful. But let me fix. I'm still trying to fix this. My spelling has always been awful. And so is my typing. I taught myself how to type by playing MMORPGs when I was a teenager. I'm still trying to sign into this. Somehow I got signed out of the chat bar, and that's why. Oh, that's why. Because I was streaming on the other one. Let me see if this works if I pop it out again. See, this is what happens when you start streaming. This is what happens when you start streaming on 2 channels. It messes up all your settings and jacks with you. Yeah, you said that, Charles. You said I sound the same on the phone as I do on YouTube. I said, good, that means my mic's doing its job. Means I got the mic set up the way it's supposed to, that I actually sound the same. Hopefully I sound a little bit better on YouTube than I do on the phone, actually. The mic quality on here should be better than what's on my phone. All right, so we're going to go to this and pop out this chat again. And try and do this. Copy link. Go back to OBS. Live stream. Browser. That can't be right. Copy. What did I do? There we go. Let's try this now. Oh, that's not going to work. Boom. It still doesn't work. Why do you hate me? Oh, wait. Also showing videos that are posted on X and do live reviews, reactions based on those videos. YouTube algorithm loves channels that do that. Well, I do show some of them on X as I'm going through the news and give my opinion and advice on them. Absolutely. Scott sounds the same on the phone. Yep, that's me. All right, well, we've gone through everything. Let's see. We don't have to get off here yet, though. Let's see what's happening with this price. I keep trying to fix the chat bar. I'm going to have to figure it out off air. I'm down $6 now. I keep trying to figure it out. I'll have to figure it out off air because it's still not working for me. Go to the top here, see if we got any new news. And again, you can always follow me on X at Longview Crypto. Oh, this is a new, something new with Canton co-founder. What's he have to say? Let's see. It's 2 minutes.
Crypto. Yeah, I mean, not to pick on anyone, because again, I don't think any of the things that are going on are inherently bad. But when you look at the attempts, the early attempts here to create tokenized stocks, most of them don't amount to much more than really a CFD, or contract for difference, a derivative on the issuer's balance sheet.
Yeah.
And I don't blame most crypto native participants for not really understanding what that risk is. But I think the symptom that you see in the network is that these things don't scale beyond the low single-digit billions. It's okay to take a few $100s of counterparty risk to Robin.
Yeah.
Totally fine. Are you going to take $1 trillion of counterparty risk to Robinhood? No, probably not, right? So it's not that these things don't work. It's that they scale to crypto native levels and they don't scale to capital markets levels. And we don't appreciate as a space how much bigger capital markets are.
Yeah, this is exactly what we were discussing even before we hit record here, was just talking about how for forever, most of the crypto space, or at least the vocal people in the crypto space, said, we're ready for Wall Street, the herd is coming, but at no point would we have actually been ready up until maybe now, and even now, it's still looking pretty early.
It's still early. The whole thing is still very early. You know, we're at, you know, basis points that the capital markets are on chain today, and we need to band together and start working into the, you know, percentage points and collectively push on this.
Totally. You look at some of these borrow venues, and you're like, well, you know, somebody with a 5 basis points allocation into a strategy through this would wipe out the entire liquidity of these 3 venues.
Yeah, that can happen. That can happen pretty quickly. But I think that's also the opportunity, right? So anyone who's discouraged because they think it's too late, trust me, it's not too late to get involved in these things. Listen, where my Bitcoin.
There you go. Anyone who's discouraged thinking it's too late, it is not too late to get involved, is what they're saying. And that's from the co-founder of the Canton Network. Private market access is almost here. Join Robinhood Ventures. So again, the tokenized stocks. Again, that was it Ondo and Chainlink partnered together to work on Robinhood as well. I mean, the entire crypto market is booming right now as far as adoption and the tailwinds. Layer Zero was that other one that has the backing from ARK Invest as well. As the industry moves towards tokenization of everything, Fidelity's Center for Applied Technology is well suited to help secure assets moving across change. The FCAT DVN is now live. Movement going from Chain to Ondo Finance. Layer Zero with Ondo Finance. Okay. Again, Ondo is one of our tokens. And we already talked about this, about the prediction markets as far as what's going on with the CFTC. What do you think CC's price will be by the end of February? That's interesting. End of February. So in 2 weeks, what will CC be? What do you guys think? What do you guys think CC is going to be in 2 weeks? What should I reply? What are we at right now? Currently, oh, it's nice, moving up a little bit. Currently at 16.5, so in 2 weeks, maybe 20 cents. What do you guys think? 20 cents is a fair response? You guys got quiet on me. 26 cents. Wow. That's more bullish than me. I was saying 20 cents. I'd love for it to be 26 cents. And you guys don't have to tell me your bags, but I'll tell you mine with Canton. I hit my first goal with Canton yesterday. I put an order in and got some more when it was down in the 15s. I now have 30,000 Canton. 30,000 CC. And climbing. Trying to build it up. I wanted to get at least 50,000 before it had any kind of major move. But I've got 30,000 of it right now. Let's comment here. 26 cents. Says the stream. There we go. More info from Chainlink about the DTCC. This is unusual. The larger investor has been buying December gold call options, spreads of 15,000-20,000 on COMEX Exchange. This means gold prices would have to triple from current levels by late 2025. This was 2 hours ago. They must have meant 2026 for the trade money to even pay off. A large investor has been buying December gold call option spreads of $15,000-$20,000 on COMEX Exchange. This means gold would have to triple from current levels by late 2025. They must have meant late 2026. Steven says, I'll take $30 per CC token. I would love that. Judah says, I bought mine at 9 cents and called myself slick trying to sell when it went to 15 cents. Never dropped back down to 9 cents. No, it didn't. It's that's the cool thing about it, is you can see it just step up with it. I have 102,000 CC. If it hits $30 a token, you won't ever see me again. I better see you in stream, Steven. Wasn't I the person who introduced you to CC? I better still see you pop up in stream. Todd Madison, would you sell XRP to buy CC? I am not selling my XRP. Again, I love Canton Network, but I love my XRP too. And I also hold HBAR, Chainlink, and Ondo. I have several things that I think are going to do well as we move forward in this. And again, that's my opinion. I'm not going to tell anyone else what to do. You need to do your own research and make your own decisions. But I have no plan on selling it. I plan on investing and borrowing against it later and creating more cash flow options so that I can live my life that way. My main goal is to not sell it and create as much cash flow as I possibly can. So if there's yield options, like I'll probably be partaking in those, using it to create more cash flow. So therefore I can buy more assets. But that's how I work. Alcoholic Click says he thinks it's gonna be 9 cents by the end of the month. Oh, I hope not. Todd Madison says, no, I just answered that. I'll wave at you on the beach. Well, if it goes to $30 a token, I'll be on the beach too, but I'll be streaming from the beach. Because if Canton goes to $30, that means everything else is going up. I mean, even if it were, I mean, what's $30 times 30,000? I mean, so if Canton went to $30, because I have 30,000 of the Canton, right? So where's my calculator? I need a calculator. Well, no, I don't need a calculator. So that'd be 9 plus another 0. So that'd be 900,000. Was it 900,000? Yeah, or no, that'd be 9 million. So yeah, if it goes to $30, that means I got 9 million buckaroos. I'm good. If that coin goes to 9 cents, I'm backing the truck up. Yeah, you and me both. I still have, and that's again why we dollar cost average in. I still have money on the sidelines ready to buy more. I still have available USDC sitting in Caleb and Brown, and I have available money sitting on the sidelines here in Robinhood. Now I'm keeping money in Robinhood right now because I am doing futures, and you have to have so much money in there to cover the margin. But also aside from that, I have my foundation and my savings account to make sure I'm not cash broke either. It's a whole combination of things, right? But yeah, if it were to go to 9 cents, I would be making a very large purchase of Canton. But that's again just me. I mean, I'm sitting here shorting Bitcoin right now. If that tells you anything, it depends on the day, right? What do we got in this stream here? 19 people in the stream, so that means it's my regulars all still in here. I'm assuming 18 concurrent viewers right now. What did we get up to at one point? I can't even see what we got up to at one point. Oh, we got up, 30, 31. Okay. Yeah, the stream's been going pretty slow. That's all right. We'll get there eventually. Hopefully people will like the real news, the non-hype stuff. I feel like we do just as good of a show as everybody else, as the next guy. It's just a matter of getting people to find it and listen. If I was a pretty girl, I'd have triple the viewers by now, I'm sure. No offense to anybody out there, but it's true. I was looking at streams for my second channel, right? Because I have my second channel I stream on, trying to get ideas and see kind of what's working and what's not working in that space. And I went through a few, and there was one of them, and it was just, and no offense, I'm not mad, I'm not hating, it's just the way the world is. But there was one, it was a girl, and she was playing, and she was sitting there, and she just not doing nothing, just sitting there. Had like 40 people watching, just talking to her, and she's just sitting there looking at her phone. Like, I'm like, okay, what kind of stream is this? What is this crap? Where's the value here? It's funny how that stuff works, though. Go back to this chat. Where's the chat? I lost my chat bar. There it is. Can Canton go to $20? Asked Cordell Lewis. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, mathematically, yes. Oh, you guys are blowing up the chat now. Let's see here. What's the low for XRP? Right now it's $1.11. But again, the next support below $1.11 is 80 cents. So if something were to cause it to go down, if it were to fall all the way to $1.11 and break through that, then to me, my next leg is 80 to 85 cents. But that's me. Can Canton coin go to $20? I mean, mathematically it can, but will it? Who knows? XRP right now, I think, is at $1.47. Yes, it is at $1.47-ish right now. I can switch back to it real quick for you, see what we're dealing with. As far as XRP goes, yeah, $1.47.6 right now. My current average after the pullback, at least that's on Robinhood, is $1.44. But my overall average, I actually just redid my averages yesterday. My overall buy average for XRP right now is $1.61. So I'm still slightly underwater after this pullback in my XRP, but my overall portfolio is green since 2023. Let's see here. Working but watching and listening as I can. Great info. I'm glad you appreciate it, Jose, and thank you everyone for taking your time to be here. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you're here for the long view, right? All the things we always talk about. Folks are saying they are getting frustrated waiting for the coin to do something, but they keep streaming videos to closed parties, making people's mad. But they keep streaming videos to closed parties. What are you talking about? But folks are saying they are getting frustrated waiting for the coin to do something, but they keep streaming videos to closed parties, making people's mad. I don't know what you mean they're streaming videos to closed parties. I don't know what you mean there. Oh, are you talking about Canton coin? What are you talking about streaming videos to closed parties? I'm confused. Hey, our trade's doing really good, though, I think. Let's see. How's our trade doing? Or my trade doing? My trade, not financial advice. My trade. My trade is doing good. It's at $20 up right now, so that's good. I'm not losing money. Are you still watching the Jake Claver channel? No, I don't watch the Jake Claver channel. Who's having video? Are you talking like, are you talking about influencers, YouTubers are having closed videos about XRP for people? Is that what you're saying? They're having closed videos and closed streams for XRP? They're not talking about it publicly? That'd be weird. I know there was some stuff circulating around about there were people trying to pay influencers to post negatively about XRP. I did see that circulate. How true that is, I don't know. But apparently there was some stuff sent out to different influencers saying they were going to pay, that they would be paid $25,000 if they would basically defame XRP, saying that Ripple's a scam, XRP's a scam, that they sold all their tokens and all this and that. There was a specific script they had to hit. They had to hit 3 points on it. So there's a lot of funky stuff going around with the XRP community right now. And it wasn't just a video, Judah. I saw the tweets. Like there were multiple people who put that out on X. It wasn't. I know that. Who was it? I know Klaus brought it up in his stream. I do watch Klaus less lately though. He's kind of gone off the wall, putting a lot of stuff on Clarity that's really macroeconomical. So I kind of leaned away from that a little bit as far as that goes. And again, he has good information too. We all have our different strengths and weaknesses. I have my strengths and weaknesses. My strengths fall under the not comparing, but tying what's happening in the global macroeconomic events as far as to what's actually happening in crypto and creating a real line between it so that we can get through the hype of the news, because more often than not, the news is not what's impacting the price. It's usually what's happening with jobs data, or what's happening with inflation data, or what's happening with liquidity in the market, or, this tied to this, tied to that. It's usually a bunch of dots to find out what's actually causing price to go up and down. Let's see here. Do you think that X payment gonna be on XRP? Probably not. I'm not really. I understand that X is trying to do their version of it. I'm more excited about the fact that people are going to be able to buy crypto straight from their timeline. It's just going to create more access. More access means more money. More money means more liquidity. More liquidity means number go up. But will the payments actually move on XRP Ledger? Probably not, but I'm really not too concerned with the retail payments section of it. I think the retail payments are going to be taken over by the banks. Honestly, we have to see what happens with the market structure bill to have a really good idea of what's going to happen on the retail payments side of it. My opinion, not financial advice, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it moving forward. I'm treading those waters carefully when it comes to retail payments, because if there's no need for a cryptocurrency to appreciate in value for retail payments, especially if they're using stable coins, because there's nothing that needs to be settled, right? Like you can use a stable coin. So that's how I think about it, but that's just me. Information wars are real. Yeah, the information wars are real. That's for damn sure. Isn't there an event in Vegas right now? I think Zebek got invited. I think let me see here. I'll check that in here in a second. Well, is Elon coming out with another coin? I don't know if he's coming out with another coin. He mentioned X payments, that he's trying to basically, he wants all money to flow through X. Is essentially his mission and his goal. Like, he wants all money to flow through X. He wants X to be the one-stop shop that you can do everything from. And then he's also building his little robots and everything. He's trying to take over the world with technology. They all are. It's all about creating one thing, the oneness now. It's all the oneness. The one universal thing is what everyone's looking for. And it's not, if history has ever taught us anything, it's never one thing. It's always a couple things. It's always two or three. It's not just McDonald's. It's McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. You know what I mean? It's not just Chick-fil-A. It's Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Raising Cane's. Like, there's several winners usually. There's normally not one. Now, granted, the one is usually higher than the others. There's usually a clear first, second, and third. But there's usually a first, second, and third. It's not just a first place. I would like for XRP to go to $1.10, says Raul. Raul wants to stack up some more. If it goes to $1, I have a very, very large buy order waiting at $1. I'll see if I can find the post about Zebek going to XRP party in Vegas. I think for sure I seen that. Well, I didn't see that, but I mean, we can do a quick Google challenge. I mean, Zebek and XRP Vegas. XRP Las Vegas. Zebek coming soon. Let's see here. What's this? Paul Barron's going to be there. XRP Las Vegas, the largest XRP conference in the world, April 30th to May 1st. You know, it's too bad the channel's not making enough money. I could totally write off a trip to Vegas to go to this. That's unfortunate. I'm not seeing anything about Zebek here. At least not on this page. Let's see what XRP. Zebek is heading to XRP Las Vegas, the largest XRP conference. Our CEO will be speaking alongside leaders from across the industry. So Zebek will be there speaking, yes. And I will be covering this live, and I guarantee at least it better be better than the community day, but we will stream this live as well. I'll repost this for you all and bookmark it, but we will certainly watch this live. I'm not invested in Zebek. Again, I'm staying away from the retail stuff, but that's just me. Let's see here. I'm getting mine down still higher. I want 206. Okay, so Raul's talking about his average XRP buy rate. He's at 206 now. Again, mine was at 161 as of this morning, and our play here is trying to reclimb, which we'll see what happens. It touched off EMA 9 and is pulling back up. We'll see if it continues to fall. What a long stream. We're at an hour and 45 minutes today. I feel like I really haven't been streaming that long. I've actually been able to talk pretty much the whole time for the most part. You guys keeping the chat rolling does help. We can carry conversations. And again, if you are new to the stream and you've wandered in here, right now we're just doing a chat recap, but every single day we cover the news at noon, Monday through Saturday. We cover what's going on with the current price. I hold my long-term plays are XRP, Canton Network, HBAR, Chainlink, and Ondo. The channel is about the long view. We're here for the next 5-10 years, not for the next 5-10 days of price action. Now, if you're looking at the screen, you're like, well, you're day trading. Yes, I do trade every once in a while. I do futures trading, not financial advice. And I just actually started showing this on screen. Some people asked to see it. And I was going to do it in my members only, just so it wasn't out there for everyone to see. But according to the law, that would be considered financial advice because people are paying to be there. So I can't do that. So free content for you all. You can see me trade. I'll start going live when I trade if you all want to see it. So your chart, what's the long jagged line in the background trending downward? Is that the moving average? So there's two averages here. There's a pink one and a blue one, and you can see them up here. So the pink one is the volume weighted average. So this is a combination of volume and price action. And it shows you that. And then this is EMA 9. This is my Bible. EMA 9 is my crypto Bible. I love EMA 9. It is the best representation as far as momentum combined with RSI, which I'll cover here in a second, is my favorite too. EMA 9 and RSI, that's like 90% of my technical analysis comes from those two things. That, and then the rest of it is tops and bottoms, highs and lows. So EMA 9 is the estimated moving average of the last 9 candles. You can change it to however many you want. You might have heard some people say the EMA 200 with Bitcoin is really popular. That's the estimated moving average of the last 200 candles. But it's good for helping to determine if you are above or below the trend. So right now, when we're looking at EMA 9, right, this pushed up and now we are above the moving average. We're above the trend. So it's natural that the farther the candle pulls away from the average, the more likely it's going to snap back towards that average. That's why a lot of times when you're looking at EMA 9, you see it touch, touch, touch. Like it'll constantly go back and forth and bump against it on its way up and down. So that's why I always use EMA 9 on my charts. And then RSI is your strength index, right? So this is how hot or cold buying or selling action is. The closer it gets to this top area of 70 and above, that would mean you are overbought. And then on this area would be oversold. So for me, when I am doing technical analysis and I'm looking at this chart, we are closer to overbought. And not only are we closer to overbought, we are also above the EMA 9, right? So that's why I was like, I think this is going to pull back when we were looking at it right where the cross is. That's when I was looking at entering in was actually right here because it just pulled way above EMA 9. And I'm like, it's going to pull back. It's going to have to. It was getting closer to overbought. We just had a really long run. There's some fair value gaps here, which I can get into technical analysis if you guys want. Let me pull up a box. There's a fair value gap right here. So If I was looking at this from a technical analysis standpoint, I wanted to enter in a position when it was getting up here like I did, I was like, okay, well, we're approaching overbought. It's starting to pull back. It's pulling away from EMA 9. On this last run up, it left this fair value gap right here. At some point, it's going to have to fall below EMA 9 and test in here, right? That's how I'm looking at it. So all of those indicators tell me that this was about to round off and go back. That's how I do a brief technical analysis. Again, not financial advice. Judah says, so on your chart, what's the, oh, that was what I just answered. Yeah. So that's the EMA 9 on the chart right there. That blue line is EMA 9. Probably my favorite indicator. I compare that to RSI just about every time when I'm looking. Now, this is the 15-minute chart. This is what I use if I want to do like an intraday swing trade on Bitcoin. I don't ever really get into anything tighter than a 15-minute candle. I might move into a 5-minute candle if I'm trying to time an entry, but usually I don't do all that stuff. Raul says, I'm about to meet my XRP goal. Good for you, Raul. Good for you. Judah says, thank you for making that clear. You're very, very welcome. Glad I could shed some light on it. And the same with H-bar, says Raul. Okay. Yeah, H-bar, my H-bar, I need to stack some more H-bar. I wish I would have got more before the FedEx announcement on H-bar, but I've been really focusing on Canton. I wanted to make sure I was in position before they turned on more utility with Canton Network. I feel like I'm one of the early adopters on YouTube with the Canton Network. I wasn't the earliest by any means, but I definitely feel like I'm one of the earliest. And when it takes off, I want to make sure that my money is where my mouth is, and I've been positioned with the same words being repeated over and over again about utility, because people will find it when it runs. And that's the other thing with the channel too. I have patience, because just like with crypto, the channel is about the long view too. Retail is away from crypto right now. There's not a lot of people looking up this kind of content. And if I've been consistently saying the same message and that message comes to pass over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and we actually start seeing it play out, then that means people will find me that way. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Better early than late, they always say, right? My average is terrible, says Yeshua. How much did 30,000 CC cost in dollars? I think I spent about 4,000 total collecting all that, and I was dollar cost averaging over time. But I started back in December when it was pretty cheap. So I want to say my average buy on it's like just under 15 cents, maybe 14. It's 14 something, I think, is my average buy on CC. But it cost me about roughly $4,000 for all that. Let's see. Judah says, oh, did you hear about the new token Silk built on H-bar? The DEX for Silk looks really good. The coin just launched today. No, I haven't heard that. I really focus around institutions, around institutional adoption and real use case utility. I'm sure it has use case utility. I don't take a lot of flyers. Don't worry about FedEx. H-bar is just a penny. Is up just a penny. I mean, but at that time, it was a 10% rise. I mean, if I'm buying the dip on H-bar, I got H-bar as low as, you know, what was I getting H-bar at? Hang on. I mean, H-bar, I was getting H-bar at 7 cents during this dip. You know what I mean? As low as 7 cents during the dip. It's only up 55 cents today. I'm not sure what my average is on H-bar, but I mean, I remember buying it as low as 7 cents. So the fact that it shot up after that, I mean, that's a 30% run. That's not bad. I'll take a 30% run. I mean, that means if I, which I know what I put in there. So, I mean, yeah, I'll take that profit. I wish I would have had more in there for that 30% run. I literally just bought like I want to say it was $1,000 worth of H-bar when it was at 7 cents. So that one little run at 10 cents made me $300. I'm happy with that. That's a heck of a turnaround for buying the dip or dollar cost averaging in. Again, you guys know the deal. Yeshua, that's very good. Yes. Judah says, I got a really small bag of H-bar. Okay. 10% rise, literally a penny. Yeah. When you got, if you got, for instance, like right now, if Canton went up 10%, that means I just made like $400. So I'll take it. Every 10% counts. 10% of my portfolios, at least of the portfolio I have listed here on Robinhood, anyways, 1,300. I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at if I get a 10% return in a day off one announcement. On XRP going to 3 or 4 digits, would they let us cash out? I mean, they'd have to, right? They'd have to. They'd want us to. If it's running to 3-4 digits, why wouldn't they let us cash out? That means they want it. That means they need it. That means they got to have it. Like the demand for XRP is what would cause it to run up. So of course they'd let you sell it. They'd have to. I mean, you'd be able to cash all at once depending on where you're at, but like, say if you, let's go to a hypothetical scenario where you have random numbers, 10,000 XRP, and it goes to 10,000 per coin, right? And you have millions and millions of dollars. An exchange is not going to let you withdraw all of that at once. Your bank's not going to take it all at once either. Like the traditional ways that would have to process would take a long time. That's what they were just, I don't know if you saw the video or if you came in the stream late, but that's what they were talking about on Caleb and Brown with Paul Barron when we were looking at that video earlier in the stream, was that the cool thing about the brokerage is you can get your money so fast, and because they use RippleNet and XRPL now, there's no limits to how much you can onboard and offboard, and you get the money faster because it settles in 2 seconds on the XRPL. They use RippleNet. So it depends on what you're using. According to Caleb and Brown, there's no limit and you can have your money immediately. But I can tell you right now, if you try to withdraw that kind of money on Robinhood or whatever, insert other exchange here, then you're not going to be able to access that money for days, and days, weeks even. For instance, I just sent a check to my dad for $7,000. It took 6 days for it to clear because they put a hold on it because it was over $5,000. That doesn't happen with crypto anymore, right? That's the difference. That's going to be a major difference. The percentage gain and loss is the most important metric. Price is just the number, right? That's right. And you don't lose until you sell. I mean, an unrealized loss is not a loss. I mean, that's just the facts. Them's the facts, folks. And will this continue to fall? It's tapping EMA 9 again right now, almost perfectly. I think it'll break below EMA 9 and at least come into this fair value gap. So what I'm going to do, not financial advice, but how I'm going to play this, is since it's touching EMA 9 right now, if it breaks through EMA 9 into the fair value gap, I'm going to move my stop into the money and below or above, slightly above EMA 9. So that way it won't stop out unless it crosses back over into an uptrend. That's how I look at this. So it's right now it's fighting with EMA 9. We can see it battling right there. I can zoom in and make it a little bit clearer for you guys to see. But you can see it battling right here with EMA 9, trying to go below it. Now that one just closed below it. Will it stay below it? And again, entertainment, educational purposes only. So right now it's deciding if it's going to stay below EMA 9, and currently I'm at a $30 profit. We need it to stay below EMA 9 and push into this fair value gap that I highlighted earlier. That's what it looks like it's trying to do. We're currently, as far as RSI, we are currently right in the middle. We have room to go either direction. So really, this is a decision point for the chart. It's deciding if it's going to continue to go down or if it's going to rebound and go back up. It's exactly what we are seeing here. Is it going to switch to a downtrend, or is it going to continue and bounce back up to an uptrend? So when you're doing regular, when you're doing technical analysis, like this is what it is all day long. Like day traders, this is what they do all day long. They stare at these charts. And when you watch a chart long enough, you get a feel for it. You get a feel for how it's going to move, what it likes to do, how it typically trades. You can do things that they do have the ways for you to paper trade as well, which I highly suggest anyone do if you're even going to consider doing any kind of leverage day trading. Again, not financial advice, but do paper trading where you can actually trade for fake money and practice. So that way you're not just jumping into it guns a-blazing with a $10,000 stack. You know what I mean? You don't want to lose all your money. Losing all your money is bad. It looks as though it's going to dip. I agree. That's why I bought it. That's why I shorted it. It looks like it's going to dip, but I have to make sure it stays below EMA 9 right now. It's just battling it. But I had a feeling it was going to pull back after it tapped off of this right here, because this was the opening candle, right? It dropped. And then it did this. So this was a 15-minute candle. I talk about the first 15-minute candle always being a manipulation candle. So it dropped, bloop. And then, of course, the next correction, run all the way back up to where it was. It tapped off where it was. I'm like, I think this is going to go back down because it tapped off where it was this morning. And now it's balancing back out. So now it's falling. We're down here deciding again if we are going to stay below EMA 9. If your bags hit the money you are looking for, would you sell it and put your money in the bank, or would you consider putting the money in a high yield rate account? I don't like dollars. So I'm never going to be dependent solely on dollars. I can tell you that right now. If I were to sell anything, like I said, it would be to create more cash flow. I don't like holding cash. I'd rather spend $10,000 to create an asset that's going to pay me $500 a month than hold $10,000 in cash. So my goal is to create as many cash flow options as I possibly can. That's my goal. Because I've relied on a job before, and I've worked at a job for 10 years, and they can let you go like that, and everything that you built can fall apart because you're dependent on that one stream of income. So I ran far, far, far away. And sorry, I was just watching this totally drop right here. It was wonderful. Looks like it is going to stay below EMA 9. I hear banks being a bad place to put your money. Well, there's no benefit for you to put your money in a bank. Like, truthfully, no offense, and again, this is not financial advice. I'm using the word you. But I see no benefit in me putting my money in a bank because, number one, fractorial lending is gone. They don't have to keep your money in the bank. So all you're doing when you give the bank your money or you put your money in a banking account, you're saying, here, please go make money off my money for me. But at least this way I know where it's at and I can use your services to pay my bills. Like, that's all a bank account is. They literally take your money. They don't have to keep it in the bank, and they loan it out and they make money off of it. And we get what? Maybe 0.5% if it's in a savings account, or a high yield account's 1% or 2%. No. So I don't keep cash at all. Like, literally. I think I have $1,000 in my bank account right now for me to go if I need cash on tap. But the rest of my money, and I don't recommend everyone do this, just the way I do it, but the rest of my money is put away and is working for me. And I personally, and any income I get is used to pay bills or is reinvested. Now, I use my credit card for anything I need to spend money on to pay all my bills or whatever. And then at the end of every month, I pay it off and I get my 2% cash back because I have a 2% cash back credit card. So I use that instead of cash on everything, bills, everything. And then I'll pay that off. And then if I need cash, I'll pull more cash. But that's how I work it. Everyone has their own way, but I hate cash. I do not like cash. I keep $1,000 in case of emergencies because you should always have a little bit of cash on hand just in case. In case there's some kind of major digital outage or something like that, you do have to have a little bit of physical cash on hand, not bank account cash, physical cash. So I do have a little bit of physical cash that I keep on hand as well as physical silver, physical gold. It's right next to my shotgun. So it's the emergency fund, if you will. Judah says in DeFi, some of those programs will pay you 20% upwards to just yield farm from your stablecoin. The banks will give you 0.39. Exactly. And that's why I'm looking for one-click DeFi. I'm looking forward to one-click DeFi. My ultimate goal with my crypto would be able to invest it and have it generate a yield in the future to where I'm generating 4, 6, 8% yield on my investment while it's appreciating and I can live off the yield. That would be my ultimate goal as far as that goes. But again, multiple cash flow options. It's not limited to just one thing. And we're doing good. We're up to $42 right now. I'm waiting for this candle to close and then I'm going to remove my stop down to just above EMA, probably right around 67,900. Give me a little breather. Yeah, 67,900 looks good. And we've pulled down low enough to where I can move this stop now. So I'm going to move this stop to 67.9. Boom, replace order. And that's going to lock in that profit. And we continue as it continues to go down. So now every time it goes down $1,000, I make $100. And that's how futures trading works. Not financial advice, entertainment, and educational purposes only. Let's continue to watch it drop. I'll be right back. Shit. I'll be right back in 1 minute. And I'm back. Knocked over my whiteboard when I was getting up. Yeah, they are. They're totally smashing that candle. We'll see how far it goes. It's got a lot of room to fall. RSI is only at 48 right now, so it still has a lot of room to fall. We'll see, though. It's right in the middle of the fair value gap that I outlined before. Like literally exactly. That's really cool. I'm glad we did this, honestly, because it literally the exact thing happened how we called it out. This is exactly how you should do technical analysis. This is exactly how you should use indicators. And again, this is entertainment, educational purposes only, not financial advice. But the reason I say that is because I had my plan. I called out my plan. I said what I thought the tops and bottoms were going to be, and I executed it, and I set a trailing stop to back it. So now I thought it was going to come back in, and it came back down to at least that fair value gap. It literally just hammered directly in the middle of it. So now we get to see where it goes from here. Will it continue downward? I move my stop above EMA. So if it does come back up to test EMA 9 again, I won't get stopped out. But the question is, will it continue downward or not? That's what we're waiting to find out. I hope it continues downward in this case. But that means, you know, we're losing money in our other assets as Bitcoin goes down. But right now, I'm just trying to make a profit off of the chop. Because that's really what this is. This is just daily chop. I made money going up, right? I made money going up, and now I'm making money going down. I made 30 bucks this morning, and we made money yesterday when I was doing it. So, I mean, it's not a ton of money, but 30 bucks here, 40 bucks here, just, I mean, I'll take 30, 40 bucks a trade. You don't go broke taking a profit, as Peyton Manning said once. Never go broke taking a profit. So yeah, I'll swing trade 30, 40 bucks a day for free. Yeah. From what it looks like, it's going to match the other candle from the left. Oh, I see what you're saying. This green one right here. If it goes way down, that's a hell of a fall. We'll see if it plays out that way. We'll see. That's why, you know, that's the beauty of trading. And then right now, if like this is the best part of trading right now for me. For me, this is the absolute best part of trading because I had my thesis on the trade, just like I have my thesis on other things. Well, I had my thesis on the trade, I had my parameters laid out, and it did exactly what I thought the parameters were going to do to the T. Now I've moved my stop, I'm in the money, and I'm playing with house money. So anything from this point is a profitable trade, which is always a great place to be. So the question isn't about if this trade is going to be profitable. The question is, how profitable will the trade be? Which is always a fun place to be in. How low will it go? The only thing I want though is one of these times I want to be, I have not had this happen to me in a long time. But I want to be in one of these trades when I catch a big run. Like I've done several of these where I've caught like, you know, a $2,000 or a $3,000 run where I make like $200 or $300 in a move, but I've never been a part where I was actually in a position when it moved like $10,000 or $11,000 and I make a massive profit. I have not had one of those yet where I've actually been locked into a position for that. Will this be it? Will this be the drop down to 55K while I'm in position? Who knows? That would be something though. That means I'd make $1,000 to be able to buy at the bottom. This is Robinhood Legend, Steven. This is Robinhood Legend. They have Robinhood, which is just like their main site, but then they have this, which is better for if you're going to be doing analysis and charting and stuff like that. They have Robinhood Legend. Not the best one to do it on, but for what I do, it covers my purposes because I'm not a hardcore trader / investor as far as constantly day trading or anything like that. So for what it is, this is perfect for me for just little swing trading. Oh, by the way, guys, I vape. I've been on here for 2 hours with you all. I'm going to use the vape. Sorry. I quit smoking in March of 2012, right before my daughter was born. I've been vaping ever since, so it's a nasty habit, but it's better than smoking. A $50 win right now. Let's see if it continues. I would like for it to fall below the fair value gap. I'm just going to ride. See, now it's going to come back up and test EMA, aren't you? Aren't you? If it bounces off EMA, then I'm looking good. Oh, it's going to go lower. Okay. $17 people in the stream. You guys are keeping the stream going. It must be my core 17. Do we have anyone new pop in the stream that want to announce themselves? We've been going for 2 hours now. Just wait till you guys join one of my other streams when I'm sitting there gaming and I'm been going for 4 hours plus. That would be an interesting, you know, I think that's a play right there. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just combine the two. Maybe I should just combine the two. I can stream while I do futures trading. I could stream my World of Warcraft while I'm doing futures trading and go back and forth. What amount did you put in for this trade? This is a futures trade. So this is actually a micro futures trade. You need to have margin and you need to have leverage. And again, not financial advice, everybody. Don't do these things just because I am. You can lose a lot of money messing with this. This is leverage, okay? But it depends on how much margin you need. But each contract I buy, I want to say is like $1,700. But the way it works is every single time Bitcoin goes up $100, I go up $10. So you have to set your stops and losses. You have to set your stops to prevent losses. And now I have my stop set in the money, but, oh yeah, I know you're a regular listener, AC. I see you all the time. I appreciate you, buddy. I was talking to Steven. I'm not able to pull up my chat bars like I usually do. It's not working correctly for some reason. I'll have to try and fix it when I get off the stream. But yeah, I was like, hell, I could play World of Warcraft and have this go in the background, just pop back and forth, cover both streams at once. Which do you want to see? Do you want to see day trading or do you want to see World of Warcraft? What are we in the mood for today? It's quiet. Too quiet. It's too bad I can't listen to music while I'm streaming. That would be amazing. That's why I said I need to talk to Tech and see if he'll let me use his stuff copyright on YouTube. I'll be sure to ask him next time I see him. I wasn't doing YouTube last time I saw him. It's been about 6 months since I saw him. A little over 6 months. Let it drop. Yes, I'm waiting to let it drop. The more it drops, the more money I make right now. And then the more I can buy later. So this, though, the cool thing about this, I mentioned that this is just one contract, but you can do multiple contracts. So I could buy 2 or 3 or 4 micro futures contracts. So that way, instead of it moving, $10 every 100, it's moving 20, 30, or 40. You can amp up the leverage in this. Now, the most they'll let me use based on the amount I have in here is the most amount of leverage I can get is 7,300 as it sits right now. And it shows lower right here because I currently have one in play. And then it tells you what you have to keep in your account to maintain your margin. So I have to keep $6,400 in my account, which I have more than that, in order to maintain the margin that I'm using. If that makes any kind of sense. Right now, I haven't necessarily used any margin. It says used right here, 0, because my cash covers it. But, oh, here it is. Future margin held negative 1,800. So each contract was 1,800. So that's how that works. Not financial advice. Leverage can cost you a lot of money, people. Be careful with leverage. As you can see, I'm being very, very cautious, only doing one contract at a time. And I always have my stop in, and it only moves, $10, $20, $30 most at a time. Whereas you're seeing, little $1, $2 moves, you know what I mean? Safer. But as Bruce Arians says, no risk it, no biscuit. It depends on what mentality you are in. Oh, there we go. They see me rolling, they hating, patrolling, they try to catch me riding dirty. I was listening to Eminem yesterday. We got anyone new in the stream that's not talking in the chat? Anyone shy out there? Want to say hello? No one shy wanting to say hello? I saw Alcoholic Click. I saw Stephen Haynes. I saw Raul. I saw Sir Charles in here earlier. Judah's been really talkative. I saw Quelly in a little bit earlier. I saw Yeshua. Let's see. I think that's about it. Did I forget anyone? I think those are all the people that have been talking today. Oh, Cordell Lewis spoke up a little bit earlier, and we had a new one. Lee, are you still in here, Lee? Are you still with us, Lee, or did you bail out already? It's been like a 2.5-hour stream, so I don't blame you. You guys have been keeping it real today. This is a hardcore stream, going on 2.5 hours. This is, it's not quite the Ondo stream that we did, but those streams are pretty cool though. The MicroStrategy stream that we did, a while back got up to 500 viewers and 5,000 views. It was just a MicroStrategy phone call, but everyone wanted to hear it, apparently. And I will be doing the XRP one in the future. The XRP Vegas one, we'll do that. Hopefully it's not just a call. Hopefully they actually have a video we can stream as opposed to just like a phone call or an earnings call type thing. Think the sell pressure might be slowing down here. I don't know though. We're still above EMA. I don't know what price that would be giving me right now. I can look. I have 67,900, so that would be so if it were to get stopped out here, I would make $23 on it. So worst case I make 23, best case we'll find out. A big red margarita, I'm guessing. Or a big red Margaret. What's a big red Margaret? Sounds like a female truck driver. Are you having a big red Margaret? Todd Madison still in the house. I didn't mean to forget you, Todd Madison. Oh, Charles, are you gonna have a big red Margaret today? It sounds like a waitress you'd pick up in an Irish bar. A big red Margaret. Must be a Texan thing. Oh, ugly. It's going the other way on me. I'm not going to do another episode where I was doing the thing where I was screaming push. I think I about popped the vessel in my brain that last time I was doing that. You feel bad for not knowing what it is. Enlighten me. I'm thinking he's meaning a big red margarita because the big red cream soda is popular down there. I'm guessing. I haven't seen Big Red Cream Soda since I left Texas. We're waiting for Raul to see if we were right here. We need you to chime in, Raul. The world must know. Are we talking about a Big Red Margarita? Because I think I'm right on that. That seems like something they would have down there. The Big Red Cream Soda was really, really popular in Texas. It's disgusting. An avocado margarita? That's even where I hate avocado. Oh my gosh. I cannot do it. I can't do the texture. I can't do avocado. I can't do hummus. Like any of that stuff. I don't like that grainy, mushy texture. It's just not for me. See what the price action's gonna do here. I need to shave. This is getting out of control. I need to take care of this. Oh, you like to listen? Okay. At work to be in the know? Hey, I try to keep you guys updated every day. Every day we go over the news and the updates and the price and see what's what. Make sure we're not missing any major developments that's going to impact price or impact the future for us. That's the name of the game. That's what the long view is all about. And then once we get through the news, we just kind of hang out till we get bored or until I have something to do or until people go away. But people are staying pretty active today. Usually when we get down to 20, I leave, but I just kind of kept it going today because I felt like seeing how this trade was going to play out. And you guys can watch with me if you want, because honestly, this is probably more or less what I'm going to be doing. The only thing I would be doing differently if I was not streaming right now is honestly, I'd probably be playing World of Warcraft and just letting this go in the background. Yeah, just margaritas with the Big Red Coke. Yep. I thought so. Yeah, the Big Red Cream Soda thing was really popular in Texas. I tried it. It's not for me. I thought it was kind of gross. And I actually like cream soda. But I didn't like that. I didn't like the Big Red Cream Soda. This stuff was garbage. And then the other time I was mortally devastated was when I went to Colorado and every single restaurant has Pepsi. None of them have freaking Coke. Not a single one. It's all Pepsi in Colorado. I don't know what it is with you guys. Pepsi's freaking gross too. You can keep that shit. Theramune made a Canton strategic DAT. Yes, they did. We announced that earlier in the stream. Dustin, you're 100% right. And actually, it was already there. They're just rebranding it as with Canton Network in the name officially tomorrow. But Theramune's been there, and you could invest in Theramune, but it is being rebranded to a Canton DAT, essentially, Canton Network DAT, and will be live for trading tomorrow under the new ticker. Need to try an avocados margarita, says Raul. No, I'll pass on that. Oh, I'm about to get stopped out on my trade. It's pushing past EMA 9 now. Will it get stopped out or will it go down? That is the question. Now it's trying to go back down. We'll see. I hope it doesn't get stopped out and it reverses. But at the same time, I don't want to lose everything I built here. So I'll take the profit at $23 if I have to. But how it goes sometimes. We trying to get drinks here, Scott. You know, I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol. I quit drinking alcohol when I was 30. I still have my other party favors that I like, and they are also legal where I live, so I don't have to worry about that either. So I do have my other party favors, but I don't drink. My grandpa was an alcoholic, and he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. My brother's an alcoholic, and he has stage 4 cirrhosis of the liver. And I've just seen too many bad things, so I stay away from alcohol in general. Every once in a while, I'll have a beer. I don't shame anyone who does drink. Everyone's welcome to drink. Obviously, have fun. I drank for a long time. I just stay away from it for me. So you can get me a mocktail, not a cocktail. I like Keef. Keef's a great beverage. I do enjoy their sodas. A Keef soda, always fantastic. All right, it's going red again. That's good to see. One of the few times you'll hear me say red is good, but since I'm wearing the red shirt today, we might as well go with the short on Bitcoin, especially since it's looking like it's going to pull back down underneath this fair value gap since it had this massive run up after its morning 15-minute sell-off. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me see here. We are down to 14 people. So here's what I'm going to do. Stream's getting kind of low, and we're literally just following a trade and chatting. So here's what I'm going to do. You're feeling the struggle of the AC, fam. Raul says there's a spot in Austin that sells them. Kura's Grill, the Keefs. Yeah, they're good. I like those. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop off here and try to fix my chat bar, and I'm going to switch to my other channel and stream there. I'll switch back and forth and check on the price, and you guys can still talk to me there, but I'm going to switch to my other channel. The link is in the pinned comment. You can subscribe there. Give me like 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes, and I'm going to go live on that channel while I'm finishing up this trade. Okay? So again, the link is there at the top. It's the pinned comment. I have a friend who was lucky and was able to get a liver transplant. Unfortunately, was able to quit drinking. That's great. Well, they won't give him the liver transplant if he doesn't quit drinking. My brother isn't on the list because he hasn't been able to stay sober long enough. But yeah, anyway, you guys can switch to that other channel. Give me like 15 to 30 minutes. I'm going to go live there so I can play my game. And then I will also go back and forth and keep an eye on this trade for us. Okay. All right, guys, I'll see you in like 30 minutes or so. Later.